What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm gonna try a really strong team. I know this is the season of Spice, and I have stayed true to it the whole season, but I honestly really wanted to try Shadow Swampert. I saw how good it did in the Liverpool tournament from Status Stan. I'm just looking over the shoulder, watching him use a Shadow Swampert, and I know it's probably gonna be used a lot in Frankfurt, Germany next weekend, so I want to try it out, and I decided to go with Walrein and Drapion in the back. Drapion's our safe swap here on the team. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this team and these battles. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle here, we have Swampert on the lead versus Galarian Stunfisk. Obviously, a really nice matchup for us. We'll have to see what they decide to do, and they're going to go ahead and swap into defense form Deoxys. Now, I think I should have saved or built up to a Hydro Cannon, then swapped out. It usually comes in handy because Drapion's probably going to be farmed down by the Galarian Stunfisk here after Defense Form Deoxys goes down, as they'll likely want to land either a Rock Slide or Thunderbolt right here, which I'm not too worried about. It does do a decent amount of neutral damage, but we should be able to get to the crunch relatively quickly, and I want to throw it before they get to a Psycho Boost as well if they are running that. So crunch right here should be able to take out the Deoxys, and it does. So they're going to come in now with Galarian Stunfisk, and this was kind of my fear. They're going to be able to farm down for a lot of energy. So what I'm looking to do here is throw the crunch, and then I will actually swap into Swampert. I mean, I could swap into Walrein, but I was worried about a fighter in the back, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into Swampert. Not allow them to get that much energy, but they bring in a Trevenant. Now, we are very far ahead on energy right here, so we're going to go ahead and throw the Hydro Cannon. This might get a shield from our opponent, which it does. Beautiful. And then we're going to go ahead and go for the Sludge Wave. This is a CMP tie as well, so I will stop this Seed Bomb right here and look to try to land the Sludge Wave if I can, or get 2 shields. If we get 2 shields, still things are still looking good because I can come in with Walrein and just Earthquake the Galarian Stunfisk. So boom! We land the Sludge Wave and farm down with Mud Shot. Now, Galarian Stunfisk still has a lot of energy, and I was not able to get to the Hydro Cannon in time. So I'm going to let this go, hoping that it is a Rock Slide, but it was an Earthquake. Boom! They get me right back, and this is now looking to be a very troublesome game. We're going to go ahead and come in with Walrein and look to close this thing out. I think the Powder Snow damage right here, plus landing 1 Icicle Spear, should be enough. We're going to let the Rock Slide go through as well, and all we need to do is basically try to land an Icicle Spear, and that's basically going to be a good game to my opponent. I still have my Drapion that I can sack swap if needed, and they decided to actually let it go, which is fine by me, because eventually one would have been shielded, one would have been let go, and we would have Powder Snowed. Sorry. We would have Powder Snowed down before they got to 2 Rock Slides. So, good game, very well played to my opponent. Okay. Moving to the next one, we got Swampert versus Nidoqueen. Another nice lead win right here. I can speak today. Now, I am concerned when you see a Nidoqueen on the lead, not typically, but there is a strong team out there with Double Dark in the back, Scrafty and Umbreon, so I am concerned about that Scrafty. So I'm going to have to keep the Swampert alive right here because it's going to be able to do the most damage to Scrafty with those Hydro Cannons. So we're just going to go ahead and throw another Hydro Cannon right here, but they swap into Umbreon, which now tells me that there is probably a Scrafty in the back. So we're going to throw the Hydro Cannon here, load up again on some energy, and then swap into Walrein. Now, I should have probably in hindsight swapped to Drapion to try to catch the foul play, as that would have been a very nice waste of energy on their side for us. But Walrein right here can still do a decent job in this matchup, applying a lot of neutral pressure here with these Icicle Spears. But Umbreon is extremely tanky and very spammy as well with Snarl and foul play. So we're going to go ahead and let this next charge move go through. We need to save our shield there for Swampert, basically, to try to sweep this game, right? So we're going to go ahead, throw this next Icicle Spear, and hope that it's going to be enough damage to take it out, but it is not, and they swap out into Scrafty. So Scrafty is loading up on energy. Our switch clock wasn't up, and we weren't able to get to an Icicle Spear. So things are now looking pretty tough. Umbreon still alive, Nidoqueen still alive, Swampert able to get to the Hydro Cannon right here. This is a huge critical moment in this game for me because this will be able to do enough neutral damage where I can swap into Drapion if they decide to no-shield, which is what they did. Now we also catch the charge move right here. If this is foul play, which it is, that is a huge catch for us. I know I wanted, or I should have tried to catch a foul play from Umbreon on our Drapion, but catching it from Scrafty as well is super beneficial. So we're going to go ahead and throw a Sludge Bomb right here. Takes out the Scrafty, and Nidoqueen now is going to be coming in. We're just going to apply as much pressure as we can right away with Crunch, as it does neutral damage. We also need to be concerned about the Umbreon that could potentially come in and try to catch a charge move. Now, we do get the defense drop there as well, which is going to be huge, and there's the swap into Umbreon, so we are going to go ahead and load up on energy. I will go ahead and shield here, and I'm going to try, what is that? I'm going to go ahead and try swap out and farm down with Swampert. Now, we weren't able to farm down in time, which is very unfortunate here. Foul play is going to be able to land, but we survive with 1 HP and a dream. We have a Hydro Cannon locked and loaded. This will be getting the final shield from Nidoqueen, and we have our Drapion with a Crunch loaded as well. We get the shield, and it was actually a delayed CMP tie right there. So they went ahead and threw the Poison Fang, which is perfect for us, as we will be able to get this Crunch off now and win the game. So an incredible battle right there against my opponent. Very sweaty, but Scrafty was something I was very concerned about, and what this team is kind of weak to. If Scrafty has shields, loads up those power-up punches, it can clear through this team if not played correctly. All right. Moving to the next battle, we got a Skarmory on the lead, a shiny Skarmory at that, so a huge flex from my opponent. But Hydro Cannons right here are going to do a ton of neutral damage, and we are going to look to swap out into Drapion here, as I am concerned about potentially things in the back that I'll need Swampert for. So we're going to go ahead and swap into the Drapion, and they do actually bring in their own Swampert right here. Now, what's really cool about the Drapion matchup here versus Swampert is Crunch does enough neutral damage that we will force a shield here, because we can survive the first Hydro Cannon, which is really cool, especially since we CMP tie. So we're going to go ahead and no shield this. It's going to hurt. It does a lot of neutral damage, but we can survive, and we can get off this next Crunch, giving ourselves shield advantage now, which is going to be very beneficial for Walrein and Swampert to try to win this game. So we do get that shield, we get the defense drop as well, and they decided to throw, which is actually huge for us. I think they might have been able to farm us down with Mud Shot, but we'll take this. We'll come back in with our Swampert, which is close to a charge move, and we are going to overload and then throw the Hydro Cannon before they can get to another one. So this is either going to get that final shield or take out the Hydro Cannon, and it takes it out. So now we're probably going to see that Skarmory come in, so we're going to try to catch the Sky Attack now on our Walrein, which we do. This is huge. I don't need to shield this. It doesn't do too much damage. It hurts still, right? It's neutral damage, but not that much. And the final Pokemon is actually going to be an Umbreon. So things are going to be very close right here. Umbreon still has a shield, but thankfully we have 2 on our side, and Skarmory is near energy dry. I think it has 1 or 2 air slashes, because I think it got to 6 when I swapped out into Drapion. So we're going to go ahead and throw these Icicle Spears here, just try to do as much damage as we can. And I'm noticing my switch clock is starting to come back up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to save the Walrein, we're going to shield, and then we're going to look to load up on energy. They do get to another one in time, which is fine. I'm going to let this one go now, and I'm going to save. I'm going to bank an Icicle Spear here on Walrein, swap into Swampert, and throw the Hydro Cannon right away, looking to force the shield here from Umbreon, or just take it out because it's going to do so much neutral damage. But they survive with 1 HP and swap to their own Skarmory now, but they actually had more energy than I thought. So they're going to be able to get to a Sky Attack. I have the shield right here, and now it's going to be a race between our Mud Shot energy and this damage from Air Slash, and we will be able to get to 2 Hydro Cannons in time. One will be getting the final shield from our opponent, and the second one will be able to take it out. Remember, Umbreon survived with 1 HP and a dream, so 1 Mud Shot should be enough to take it out, and that is going to be a good battle. Very well played to my opponent. These are some sweaty games. This is a meta team, very strong, and I enjoyed using it. So we have Swampert now on the lead versus Stunfisk. Again, very positive lead for us. We'll see them swap out right away into Hypno this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to bank that Hydro Cannon this time. Remember, versus the Defense Form Deoxys in Game 1, we didn't have that energy banked. What that allows us to do is by winning this mid game right here, I will be able to Hydro Cannon when I come back into Galarian Stunfisk right away, able to win CMP tie and force another shield for my opponent, which is huge. Now, I will have to use a shield here from Hypno. We did get the defense drop as well, which is huge. I'm going to have to use a shield here because the Fire Punch is going to do a decent amount of damage that I really want to be able to farm down with Poison Sting. So we will be able to do that. We have 2 crunches locked and loaded now versus the Galarian Stunfisk, and we might just be able to get to 3. This is going to be really good for us as we will be doing enough neutral damage to start forcing shields potentially, especially if we get a defense drop. So here comes the second crunch now. Galarian Stunfisk, no shielding that second one, but we did get the defense drop, which means we're going to be able to get to the third one in time, and this is now going to force a shield from our opponent. If they don't shield, it might just take them out. So we do get the shield right there. That is huge. They will farm us down, and now I can bring in the Swampert and throw Hydro Cannon right away, but they swap perfectly into Meganium, anticipating that. Now Meganium as well is going to be a tough core breaker here versus Walrein and Swampert, but thankfully we were able to do enough damage there with Hydro Cannon where Icicle Spears now can threaten the HP. Meganium's pretty bulky, and being pure grass type, it only takes 1 times resisted damage, or super effective damage basically. An Icicle Spear is not like an Avalanche, right, or a Blizzard. It's a lower damage charge move. So we will be able to get to another one in time, overloading just a bit, making sure I can get to an Icicle Spear versus the Galarian Stunfisk that is in the back. And that should be a good game, very well played. They'll be able to get to the Rock Slide right here, but they're going to have to throw 2 Rock Slides in order to take me out, as they cannot farm me down with Mudshot in time. So we will be able to get to this last one, and that is going to be a good game. I'm going to swap to Swampert as well if this doesn't KO. Just because I don't want them to get to that Earthquake, so we will swap and finish it off, and that is going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent. Alright, moving into the next battle, we have Swampert on the lead versus Galvantula. So Galvantula's pretty strong against this team. They decide to swap out into their own Swampert, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and go for Hydro Cannons here. If this lands, we're looking pretty good. Now, it does land for a ton of neutral damage. I'm going to go ahead and swap out into Walrein to try to catch the charge move, but they held it, which is really good on their end, and they're going to go ahead and throw the Sludge Wave here. It does a decent amount of neutral damage, but I will be able to farm down. Now, Galvantula having that Volt Switch fast move should be able to farm down my Walrein, but not before I can fire off multiple Icicle Spears right here to apply a lot of pressure in terms of HP and shields to my opponent. Here comes the Icicle Spear. Now, we'll have to see if they decide to shield. They let it go. As you can see, that did an incredible amount of damage, and we are able to get to another one in time. So this should be forcing the shield here from Galvantula, which is going to be huge for us in order to try to win the endgame with Drapion and Swampert. So we're going to go ahead, bring in that Swampert right here, and we're going to shield Sorry about that. We're going to shield the lunge. My brain's going 10 times faster than my mouth can talk. So we're going to shield the lunge here. We will see them potentially swap out, but they didn't, which means this Hydro Cannon now is going to be taking out Galvantula. If they decide to shield, they're obviously weak in the back to Swampert, so they do decide to shield, which is good for me. And they decide actually to swap into Chestnut, which is not weak to Swampert, but thankfully Drapion right here with a Poison Sting and Sludge Bomb will be able to take this one very nicely, as this does super effective damage. Boom! Takes out the Chestnut, and Galvantula is very low right here, so Poison Stings should be enough. We're going to let this charge move go through, and that is going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent. Drapion, such a great Pokemon for the Great League, really melds together a lot of teams. And honestly, it's been one of the best recent investments that I've had. Now, we do have so good game to my opponent on that last one. We do have an Alolan Ninetales here with Charm, so this is going to be devastating. We got to swap out, and it's actually going to be a Swampert in the back. So same situation as before, where the Hydro Cannon won't one-shot, and 2 crunches will be enough to flip the mid-game, so we should be able to get to the next one in time. Now, in this situation, we were hit with a couple charms, which means this Hydro Cannon might actually take us out. I still let it go through, and we hang on with a little bit of HP and a Dream. Not 1 HP, I think that was about 5 right there, but we will be able to get to the crunch in time and force a shield from our opponent. Now, Swampert is loaded on energy, so we are going to go ahead and come in with our own Swampert right here. We're going to have to shield and overload just a bit. I can't be giving up 2 shields here in the mirror fight, so I need to manage my energy correctly, and we're going to go ahead and just throw it right here. Don't want to risk that second Hydro Cannon coming through. So this is going to take out the Swampert. We'll have to see what they decide to bring in, as Alolan Ninetales is very deadly with Charm. We're going to build up to Sludge Wave and now throw a Hydro Cannon here, trying to force that shield and still do a lot of neutral damage if they decide not to. And they decided not to, so we got to swap right away into Wall Rain, and we actually catch the charge move right here. This is critical for us, as this energy is going to be dumped and resisted by our Wall Rain, and we will see a Drapion in the back. Now, Drapion obviously can be one-shot here from Earthquake, or by Earthquake, I should say. That's a shiny Drapion as well, so a huge flex from my opponent. We're going to let that Crunch go through, build up to 2 Icicle Spears here, and just go ahead and fire him away, hoping to get a shield and do as much damage as we can. They decided to no-shield that, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw another one. This is going to force the shield as well. And remember, we still have Swampert in the back as well with a little bit of energy, but they actually decided to let that go through. And I don't know if they realized how low Alolan Ninetales was, but it is critically low now, and this is going to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. They'll just go ahead and shield. I'll swap into Swampert and Mudshot down. That is a good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one, we got Swampert on the lead versus Medicham. So this is a tough one. Medicham with counter, Psychic, Ice Punch, Power Up Punch does pretty well against this team. Obviously, it's going to be hit really hard from Hydro Cannons or Sludge Bomb, Crunch, Earthquake, but I decided to let that charge move go through, thinking it was Power Up Punch, but it was actually Ice Punch, and it did a bit more damage that I really wanted to tank here from Swampert. So I'm going to go ahead and throw 1 Hydro Cannon. I'm going to throw the second. Hopefully this gets a shield, and I will be swapping right away into Drapion either way, and we are going to go ahead, swap, get ahead on energy, and they will be throwing the next charge move. Now, this is going to be another Ice Punch right here, so I will let this go. Got to save shields for Walrein and Swampert in case I need it in the back. And they decide to stay in, so I'm going to overload just a bit and throw the Crunch right here to take out the Medicham. Maybe they're weak in the back to Drapion. We will have to see. But Medicham goes down. And let's see what decides to come in. They are definitely weak to Drapion in the back. It is going to be an Alolan Marowak, and we are going to be doing a lot of super effective damage right here with Crunch, with Hydro Cannon, so things are looking good. They decided to let that go. We got the defense drop as well, and they're going to go ahead and throw the Bone Club. Now, I'm going to shield right here. I think I can make it to another Crunch in time. But they decide actually to swap into Alolan Ninetales, and I don't get the Sludge Bomb off in time. That is devastating for me. As you guys can imagine, that Sludge Bomb would have been critical to get that final shield or one-shot the Alolan Ninetales. So now we're going to have to be very risky right here. We're going to shield the Psyshock and load up on as much energy as we can, as this Charm Ninetales is chunking us right now. We're going to go ahead and throw the Icicle Spear as well, hoping to get that shield from our opponent, which we do. And now we can land the Earthquake right away. And it's going to be up to Walrein and Swampert to try to take out this Alolan Marowak, which has a decent amount of energy, I believe. So we're going to swap right away into Swampert, try to get to this Hydro Cannon as quickly as we can, but we do not. The Alolan Marowak, the GOAT, the shiny GOAT at that, is able to get to the Bone Club, and now it's going to be a race. Can we get to the Icicle Spear in time? Yes, we can. Walrein is an absolute monster in the Great League and Ultra League, and we're going to be able to close this game out nicely. So really good battle to my opponent right there that came down to the absolute wire. And that was the final battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This team was really fun, really strong. I think I would say meta Pokemon, really. Swampert, Walrein. Drapion is now, in my eyes, becoming very meta. I think it's proven itself with the Poison Sting update and the Crunch as well. It just does so well against the meta. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.